is so difficult to hold and face your own pain and the pain of others.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nadine Cornish, and we want to welcome you back to Caregiving Gumbo. It's a hot mess. I am so excited because I am back. I am in the kitchen with my girl, Alnisa Berry. And I'm excited because, as I told you guys, you can do this gumbo thing on your own. You can do this caregiving thing on your own, but there is nothing like having a partner. There is nothing like having a support person that you can look to, or a support person that can look to you and you don't have to say a word, and they are there. They are there to take over. They are there to, like, say, I don't care where you go, what you do, but you getting out of this house. I'm here. I am going to take care of things. You need to go, right? And so, our last session that we recorded, we asked the question, who's taking care of you, boo? But before we get into that, I'm going to do a quick introduction just in case some of you have no idea who I am or have no idea who Alnisa is. I am Nadine Cornish. I am founder of the Caregivers Guardian, as well as Casey, the Colorado Alliance for Caregiving Youth. And this caregiving thing has been my life now for almost 20 years professionally. But prior to that, I took care of my mom for close to 15 years. I don't like saying that no more because those years are starting to add up to some numbers that I just can't quite relate to. And so that's my truth. And Alnisa and I met. Gosh, I feel like she's always been in my life, but we literally met, I think, 3 years ago.
Close to it. It's been
Yeah.
close to
So
it,
go ahead
yes.
on and take it from there,
Yes.
Alnisa.
So my name is Alnisa Berry. I reside in Charlotte, North Carolina, originally from Newark, New Jersey. And I am co-facilitator of this
Yes.
amazing initiative of helping our fellow caregivers because it's such a need. And my journey started in November of 2022 with caring for my mom. And it has definitely changed my life, had me to grow in ways that I didn't even know needed to grow. And I am grateful, I am thankful for the lessons, and I continue to evolve in order to, and also to help others to be of service and to help them to navigate their caregiving path because it looks the same and different all at the same time.
Absolutely. So we absolutely, our journey's very, very different, very, very different time spans. Mine spanned at almost 15 years, and yours was just over
Two and a
three.
half,
Yeah,
about
two and a
two
half
and a half
years,
years. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And I say all the time that caregiving is designed to change who you are. I don't care who you are listening to this. Either you have been a caregiver, you are a caregiver, you will either be a caregiver, or you're going to need a caregiver. So ultimately, we are all caregivers, but I want you to know that who you are at the beginning of the caregiving journey is not who you're going to be when the journey has concluded. And so many of us want to hold on to that. But we got some juicy stuff to talk about because if you heard the last segment where we asked the question, who's taking care of you, Woo? We absolutely want to deep dive into more of that conversation because we know the number one challenge for caregivers is figuring out how to take care of themselves while they are so diligently, vigilantly, religiously taking care of somebody else. So we're going to I guess, expose the hypocrisy of that and some of the things that we got to work through in order to get to that actualization of self care being your most important care, your most important duty and responsibility. So, Alnisa, you were sharing about your what some of the things that your aunt was telling you and others, especially the elders, was saying in terms of your caregiving journey. So let's pick it up from there.
Thank you. So, yes, my auntie is my mother's sister, and they have been close all my life. And I valued her. I saw her as my heart. My aunt was my heart. And what she said really touched me. And I know a little of her journey when my grandmother fell ill. My aunt had no spouse, she had no children, she was living in New Jersey, and her siblings expected her to give up her life and move to the South to care for my grandmother. And she did with no complaint. And
Mm-hmm.
she pushed through, and I did not realize until I had to do it how hard that must have been for her. And here it is, I'm repeating that same cycle of leaving all that I knew, my home, my friends and family, to come live in my mother's home, similar to my aunt, and have to care
Mm-hmm.
for my mother. And from her perspective and understanding where she was coming from, she has always been one to swallow, to suppress how she feels
Mm-hmm. Okay.
in order to show up for others. And she was
Hmm.
trying to inform me to do that same thing.
Oh,
She got to be strong. You got to suck it up. You have to give it to God, and He'll take care of it. Just push through. It's going to be all right.
mm-hmm.
And what I learned in our conversations with my aunt is that anytime that I would voice how truly hard and overwhelmed I was, she would feel some kind of way. It would touch her and affect her in a negative way. And I believe what it was doing was bringing up the pain that she had endured.
Absolutely.
And she didn't want to look at that. So instead,
Absolutely.
trying to get me to suppress and be
Uh-huh.
silent. And it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
okay. And of course, the age gap, because she's 80 around this time,
Mm-hmm.
trying to show respect. But what I've learned in those conversations and those dialogues is how hard it is to hold pain for yourself and pain for others. And
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Ooh, I don't want nobody to miss that one. Would you repeat that, please?
yes, it is so difficult to hold and face your own pain and the
Mm,
pain of others.
mm,
And I
mm, mm,
realized she
mm.
did not have the capacity to hold my pain. So instead, she encouraged me to do as she did and put it aside and pretend it's not there and push through.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, so we know we serving up some serious meals right now, but inside of our gumbo, we got some serious jewels. And always know that the right person is hearing exactly what it is that they need to hear. Alnisa, that is so rich to recognize and to understand that. Give us some more. Give us some more.
And because of my love for my aunt, I did not want to cause her any further harm in any
Hmm.
way. And what
Yes.
I had to do was say, I need to pick the people who I know have the capacity and offer grace and compassion for those who don't. Don't hold it against it. So for my aunt, I would not share what I was truly feeling when I was caring for my mom. Because she would call me, baby, how you doing? How's it going? Oh, it's okay. I'm doing all
Hmm.
right. I'm hanging in there. I'm being strong for
Mm,
her
mm, mm,
sake.
mm.
And she would feel better. Oh, that's good. I knew you could do it. And then my truth, I would share
Yes.
with my friends or with the support group or those who have been through it because I knew that they would understand that experience.
Okay, so recognizing that you needed to share, but you had to become, what's the word? You had to really become selective around who and what you would share. And I mean, that's true for everything, but you would think with the caregiving journey, and especially with family, that you could just share, right? But your aunt taught you such a beautiful lesson in recognizing when you're sharing, you need to make sure that who you're sharing with has the capacity to receive it.
Correct.
And I think it's beautiful that you have the relationship with your aunt that you have, and that you also were able to recognize the limitations that were there. All right, so let's talk about getting past that and getting the support that you needed, and what Alnisa's self-care looks like.
My self-care first, of course, started with prayer and meditation. I needed to remain in a calm and peaceful state of mind because mom is not only dealing with her strong personality, she's also dealing with a terminal illness. She's also dealing with all of that comes with her new normal of not being able to do what she used to do and having to rely on somebody else. Mom was proud, and she didn't want no help from nobody. So for her to have to humble herself to accept that she needed my help, that took a toll on her. It was very difficult for her to do that. And I knew that. So I'm trying to be as gentle as possible. And the way that would come out was anger, was frustration, was aggravation, criticism. And I had to learn not to take that personally and knowing it was just her pain speaking. Absolutely. That it really wasn't her. She wanted to be hugged. She wanted you to tell her that you loved her and that she meant the world. She just didn't know how to ask for it. And I had to learn to read between the signs of this explosion that she may have, that's just on the surface. That's not really what's going on. I have to look underneath that. And how do I touch that point to let her know I'm on your side? We in this together. I'm trying to help you. I'm not your enemy. And I would have to say, I'm not your enemy. Why are you fighting me? I'm not your... I'm trying to help you. No, you ain't.
My gosh. We can all remember those days.
Yes.
Those times where the person that you love the most and that you're doing everything you can do is treating you as though you are the arch enemy. And that's heartbreaking. And it's hard to be in that.
It's very, very hard.
Through the power of prayer, I always like to remind people, caregiving is God's work. Let me tell you, you are the extended hand of God doing what needs to be done as you care for one of his children, as you care for your loved one. And when we recognize that and we tap into our spiritual source, and this space, your spiritual source is welcome, whatever that is, because we know that there are all walks. And I think God is great enough to be able to handle all the different walks. And so to recognize that you can tap into source and that source will fuel you is absolutely positively essential. I don't know about this 15 minutes, honey, but let me tell you, I am just so grateful you're in the kitchen with me today.
Thankful to be here.
That we get to have this conversation. And the interesting thing about your caregiving journey is that the more introspective you become of it, right? The more you learn about yourself. It doesn't stop. It's a constant, it's evolution. It is ongoing. And it is, I think, the gift that keeps on giving if we're willing to do the work. If we're willing to do the work around the lessons and the growing pains that we have to go through as we navigate this journey. And as Alnisa found out, just like I found out, just because your physical journey of caring for your loved one ends, it does not mean that the caregiving journey ends. And so we both have been blessed with the opportunity to continue to support caregivers. And that is what this podcast is all about. So we want to thank you for joining us today for another episode of Caregiving Gumbo. It's a hot mess, but it's a good mess. It's a good mess. And we want to thank our sponsors, the Colorado Respite Coalition, and we want to thank you all for tuning in. Also, if you want to hear more of us, because we know 15 minutes is not enough, check us out at tcgcares.com and register for our twice weekly caregiver support group, Caregiving Gumbo. So thanks again, everybody. See you next time. Remember, no matter where you're watching the Caregiving Gumbo podcast, we ask that you comment, like it, share it, and pass it on. This podcast grows through sharing.